We've explored our solar system for a very long time. But life out here is much different than our own. There hasn't been a drop of rain on Mars for millions, perhaps billions of years. Neptune's winds can reach 2,000 kilometers per hour, while the temperature on Pluto is a chilling minus 233 degrees Celsius. And others haven't felt sunlight for 2 decades. They come from all over the world, and they come to compete. Whether designing a space settlement within the asteroid belt around Jupiter, or creating a futuristic colony on Mars, the students from Princess Margaret Secondary, with guidance from an SFU student advisor, must prove themselves to some of the top aerospace engineers on the planet.
Over the competition's 18-year history, this is the only Canadian team that has ever been asked to come to the finals. And on top of that, for a team to make it to the finals on their first submission, the very first time they're trying this competition, it was really impressive. So that's a testament to how much work the kids put into this.
Months before the finals, teams are challenged to submit a proposal addressing a new design concept developed by contest organizers.
What kids have been doing is designing these settlements, producing a document, and then sending that document into the directors, and it gets judged.
The environments are far from easy and involve many challenges.
We submitted our proposal as well. Our proposal got selected, and then we received a call from NASA saying, "Hey, you guys are selected, come on up." And then they told us, and we went for finals.
It was a big shock, but it was really exciting. When we knew, we were like
jumping up and down.
Pretty much.
We found out on the day prom tickets were on sale, so everyone was in line for the prom tickets, and Sheshin and Supri come along saying that we got selected.
Yeah, and I told Sheshin first, and he was like, "You're kidding me, right?" But it was really exciting.
Here, they will attend the international finals.
What the experience meant to them, I'll just give you an example. When we came back from the trip, a couple of them explicitly stated this was the best week of our lives. So you can't get much of a more endorsement than that. This was probably the most impressive part about the project, was the amount of work that was involved. So just to give you an idea, there were 4 grade 12s, and along with their SFU student advisor, they worked an average of 4 to 5 hours a day. So around 40 to 50 hours a week, outside of their school commitments, most of them had part-time jobs. They worked outside of those commitments, and for about 4 to 5 hours a day, they would work mostly downstairs in the computer lab where they could be together, and they would be hashing out all the details of this project. And that lasted from November of 2010 to March of 2010. What these kids have essentially done is the high school equivalent of a graduate degree in terms of the number of hours spent. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were so successful, was the amount of time and detail that they put into this project. It's interesting how it relates to their education. This project specifically, for example, our Physics 12 curriculum, there's a lot of concepts in there that the kids had to know in order to do well in this project. There's a lot of biology, there's a lot of chemistry, there's a whole section of the project on economics. So they had to come up with a business plan to build this settlement and to tell you how much it's going to cost. So they had to do a projection. It's interesting that all of these skills that they learn in their classes, sometimes in high school you don't really get the benefit of knowing how this applies in the real world. Not until you go to university or maybe you get a job. I think for these kids it was a real eye-opener, and they could see, right away of how this applies in the real world, and the stuff that they learn in their classes is actually quite useful. And not only useful, it's really interesting. In terms of the students' project, what they submitted was a 55-page proposal, and they titled it Aurora. And it's a play off of, I think, the name of the Roman goddess of sunrise. And what Aurora is it's a donut-shaped space colony that spins in space to simulate artificial gravity, and it houses approximately 10,000 people. And one of the big differences between a space station and a space settlement is in a space station, you only go there for small periods of time and then you come back home. So for example, the International Space Station, nobody actually lives there their whole life. A space settlement, on the other hand, is human beings are going to be born, raised, and they'll die within the settlement. So it's multi-generational. So it has to be self-sufficient and self-contained. So they have to think about, how are you going to grow food for 10,000 people? How are you going to set up communities for 10,000 people? How are they going to socialize? How are the children going to be educated? What are you going to do when your population gets older? And how are you going to take care of the elderly people in your population? So the kids, as part of the project, they had to come up with the structure of the settlement. Structure in terms of trying to mimic the conditions on Earth. So the gravity on Earth, the light conditions on Earth. They had to come up with all of the ways that the station is automated in terms of computer controls. They had to come up with there's a section called human factors, where they have to worry about the psychology of human beings living in space to try to make it as comfortable for them as possible. So this is literally, taking an environment and putting it in space where generations of people can survive. And that's really the interesting and challenging part, is how you can take what we naturally take for granted on Earth. People can live here for generations, but how would you have that sort of environment in the harsh conditions of space?
I introduced this idea to the science lab, and we got a group of people. So we started out with this project, and it took us like 3 or 4 months to finish this project, and here we are. We got selected for the finals, and we were good.
Sumit told me that their school was doing a similar project that I had done before, and then they needed an advisor who knew inside out about the project. So he talked to his school, and then he talked to the other advisor from the school, Mr. Siora. He contacted me, and he was like, if I could prepare a presentation and then show to the team, and then let's see if I can gel up with the team as well. So I made a short presentation. I showed it to the team that this is how competition works, and this is how good or bad I am with the competition. The team liked it, the school liked me as well, and that's how I got involved with the project.
I personally got involved with the project because I want to gain a different experience. Science was never was never a choice that I would ever pick. Like I wasn't too fond of science, but I wanted to try something new, and I did, and I liked it.
For me, it was the science. I've been always interested in space stuff, like satellites. So when Sophie told me about it, I just got right into it and got started working on it. So the proposal had various sections, and that's why we divided the roles among us. I was given the structural engineering department, so that basically included designing the outer structure of the settlement, how it would rotate, how it would generate artificial gravity, how the energy would work, like how are you gonna capture solar energy and transfer it to electricity.
My role was human engineering, so basically everything to do with the people. I also had to make the community design, which is like how they would be living, where each dome would be, and stuff, and like the entertainment they would have, their psychological needs, the houses, the spacesuits that they would be wearing, and things like that.
I was responsible for operational engineering. I had to work on all the life support systems that include food, water, power, like how we gonna provide a lifestyle like Earth to people living there.
Also, a typical team for this competition consists of about 12 people. There were just 4 of us, so we kind of specialized in every single department. We would help each other out and like designing stuff, so we knew like quite a lot about every department.
And my job in this proposal was to assign them different departments and to specify the layouts. Okay, this is what's being asked and this is what's been expected from you, and then check the research they do, and then if they're doing the research right or wrong, giving them advices, and make sure things are done on time and it's presentable. Not only it has science, it's presented in a good way as well, which is readable for a candidate.
We were really excited when we got selected for finals. It was a big shock, but it was really exciting. When we knew, we were like
Jumping up and down.
pretty much.
We found out on the day prom tickets were on sale, so everyone was in line for the prom tickets, and Shayshin and Supri come along saying that we got selected.
Yeah, and I told Station first, and he was like, "You're kidding me, right?" But it was really exciting. Once we like got selected, then we got thinking, okay, how to get the funding. That's when Rotary came in. We presented our proposal, our results to Rotary Club, and they found it really interesting, and they decided to fund our whole trip. And that's when we got to Houston for the finals.
And plus, we were the first Canadian team ever to make it to the finals, which was a huge achievement as well. So yeah, it was good.
My family was very proud of me when they found out that we made it to the finals, because they knew how much time we had put into this, and even they were surprised and like they appreciated our efforts.
In this project, you just didn't go and research stuff. You had to go research stuff and take that research and apply into the project of how this settlement could be built using that research. So we would take, let's say, life support system, this oxygen generation system. Taking that oxygen generation system, we have to apply of where it would be fitted, how it would work, how much oxygen it might generate. So that's a big part of the project, that you just don't go research stuff. You have to take the theory of like absorb it and then apply it into the specific department.
Not only are we applying the knowledge that we learn from school, but also from our everyday life, like about the houses that we live in and the simple things that seem normal to us, like drinking water or going out for a walk and stuff. You actually get to apply that into a real life situation.
Also, this project teaches us about the real world industries that are out there, like how people work there, how actually engineers work, and how do they do the research and they come up with the ideas.
Not only you design the city, you give them your budget as well. The idea of this project is that you actually ask NASA to fund you for the city you are making. That's one big challenge that you learn from this project. You learn physics in school. This project gives you an opportunity to apply all the knowledge you have, plus in a cost-efficient way. And this project is the most practical way to learn what cost-efficient thing is, because it has so many aspects of an entire city. Transportation, communication, oxygen, food supply, water supply, and then what kind of computers are you going to provide them, everything. And then is it cost-efficient?
It was important to me because I want to prove to my family that I can do something different. Like, I'm always volunteering and doing leadership activities, going to conferences in different provinces and such. And they're like, that's good. But they wanted me to do something on like an academic basis. And then when Shayshin brought this up to me, I thought, why not? Like, why not give it a try? At first, my parents were like, oh no, you're giving too much time for this. But in the end, they were really happy that I did something like this and learned so much from it.
So for me, it was how to apply what you learn in class in real field. That's really important for me, because that's what you learn in a university. So this was kind of like a peek through of how things work in the real life, of how science matter in the real life. That's why it was important.
Since I already did this competition before and I didn't make it, so there was always a part of me that wanted to do it again and be successful in this. So that was one reason this competition is important for me, and also it gives me a chance for teamwork and doing all the cool stuff, and most importantly going to NASA. So that's why.
Also, the teamwork and hard work required in this project is intense. So that's really important in life, because that's how you survive as a person. You work with others and you put in the hard work needed to complete the project. So that was one more thing that was really important for me.
Not only get to go to NASA, you actually get to work with actual engineers from NASA and Boeing. You learn so much how your high school education or your university education can help you get there, work at NASA and with Boeing.
And you get to meet a lot of new people, make new friends.
It sounds really science oriented. It's really not. Even the engineers at NASA, they have their whimsical side. Even the competition co-founder Anita Gill, she's really funny, and she's kind of kiddish, but she's really funny. So it's not at all just a science-based project. It's kind of like a overall thing. It tells you learn a lot from it. You learn how to apply every single aspect of your education into real life.
Projects like these, it involves minds from all over the world, young ideas, and every year students bring different ideas and new concepts, which actually helps the actual engineers and scientists working at NASA and Boeing to grab some of their innovation and then apply science to it and to use it. Stats says that the actual space settlement, the actual building of a space settlement has been reduced for more than 12 years just because of this competition, because they get so many new ideas. Even in this year's project, there was one team who came up with an idea of a robot which can shake and then get rid of the dust that's accumulated on it. And one of the judges, they said they're actually gonna use it to make an actual robot which can shake and get rid of the dust from it. So it actually not only helps us learn stuff, it actually gives them new innovative ideas as well to apply in actual fields.
Plus, exploration is a big part of human nature. So sending out like satellites and probes into deep space lets us learn a lot about what's going on around us in space, and these projects eventually will able NASA to send manned space settlements into deep space, so we can terraform a planet and eventually maybe live there.
And projects like these, they generate an interest in young minds, and they eventually become scientists or future engineers and make the world a better place.
Such a cheesy laugh.